want to take the opportunity for you guys to introduce yourself, how you started with community, what does that mean to you, and a little bit more of your background, what you want to share with the group.
Cool. So I started with community when I was a kid. I'm an only child, and I used to have friends over to my parents' house to play basketball every single night, to play ping pong in my parents' basement every night. And then in college, I threw massive parties. Beer pong was my specialty. And then when I got into wellness, I joined a triathlon club and just recognized that everyone was bonding over discomfort. Then joined a CrossFit gym, saw the same thing, everyone fist bumping after laying on their back after a hard workout. And then when Sarah and I bought our home in Colorado, we knew that we wanted to host in a wellness way. So we have a sauna and ice barrels, and our backyard is a gym that faces out at the mountains. And I mean, we've had thousands of people over to our home in Colorado, here in Austin, to do contrast therapy with us. And
has everyone heard of Muscle Mountain? Oh yeah, let's go muscling. Let's go, Eric.
So thanks, Bill. Community genius and billionaire. But but thanks for having us. Bill was one of the first people who trusted us with the platform when it was very new, when we did have a lot of issues, and he helped us a lot there. And so the way it started was I came to the United States about 12 years ago, and immediately everyone said, you want to meet someone, you want to make friends here, you go to a bar, you go to a nightclub. That's how you make friends here. And so I did that. That was not a comfortable environment for me to make friends. I tried posting in Facebook groups. I've tried things I'm too embarrassed to say. And none of that really worked. But what did work was when I started using movement as a medium to connect with people. So going to run clubs, playing soccer, going rock climbing. On the weekends, I wanted to go to the gym, and there were other people at the gym, so connecting with them. And that became my way of meeting people from there. And it's very rare that you see places like that. You have people of different ages, different generations, all in the same room, high-fiving complete strangers before even knowing each other's names. So that was my way of meeting people. And over 3 years ago, when I moved to Austin, I again was dealing with this problem. Where are these experiences happening? Where is Eric hosting stuff? Because I would love to be meeting him and people like him. And so that's where the idea came about, a platform that consolidates all these experiences on one side. We power experiences and fitness communities, so people can do event management, ticketing. Now they can do membership, point of sale. So we have everything from passion projects, run clubs, all the way to leagues. And then we have full-scale gym and studios that are now being powered, like Squatch Fitness, for instance, entirely by Sweatpals. And then on the other side, we have over 1 million people that are using Sweatpals actively to discover what we call day life, which is connecting through social wellness instead of going to a bar, which is also not a bad thing, but there are different things for everyone. But that's how we got started, yeah.
Pretty similar story to you guys, to be honest. I, from a kid, loved sport, and the kind of feeling I got of being part of something and the passion people shared for the thing I loved was quite, resonated with me. Kind of left college and just wanted to find something that allowed me to do that. And I got into sort of mountain biking and the cycling industry, where mountain bikers particularly are the most crazy, passionate people you'll meet. And came across Vivo in the same vein as I wanted to change cities and have a switch up. And Vivo from the start, just by wearing the shoes, you have a connection with someone if they're wearing them as well. You know, it's kind of a walk down the street and you see them and they give you a nod and you're like, yeah. And admittedly, when I started, we were tiny, so we would tell each other in the office, oh my God, I saw someone wear the shoes today. And fast forward 9 years, we can't do that anymore. It'd get a bit ridiculous, thankfully, for the business. But that's what brought me to Vivo, and I think everyone that we work with and the partners we have, like you guys, share a passion for health, movement, the outdoors, wellness, and whatever the products are, you can resonate across that, and that's really what drives me, and I think the company too.
When I think of Vivo, I think of I don't think about performance marketing. I don't think about traditional paid, all that. I only see Vivo in community with people that I want to resonate with, right? I'm not looking at the ads I see or some of the stuff that even Eric posts. I see Eric living and breathing it. I'm like, fuck yes, I'm in. I see I'm going to a Danielle Gertner event. Shout out my girl Danielle Gertner over here. Hell yeah. And Vivo's there with my friends and my peers, and I absolutely love that. So I think there's, with the audience here that we have a lot of brands, we have a lot of founders, leaders, and there's a lot that people can do, but also brands can learn from how to leverage community, like basically the difference between performance marketing and organic and community marketing. I guess, how do you each individually think about the dichotomy between both of them, paid and like really leaning into community for brands? Maybe Nick, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the starting point is being really authentic. Like you can, for us, it's all about reconnecting people to their natural health and nature. Our shoes allow you to do that because they let your feet spread out, they let them move naturally and literally connect you with the ground. They are healthy for you, improve your movement, etc. And for us, as long as we're always pushing that message, we are, in our view, doing good for the world. We start with education. We need to teach people about these things. We need to teach them about feet, movement, and why our footwear can help them. And then it's their own empowered decision to decide whether they want to do that or not. Now, we think the best way of doing that actually is building direct connection with people. That might be online. It doesn't have to be an event. Like Danielle does great events for us, but it could also be content from Eric, or it could even be an ad online, honestly, but as long as we're delivering those values. But we can't just show up online. And as a business, we grew very quickly. Our first 5 years, we were growing 30% plus year on year. Crazy times, very exciting. But we reached a tipping point where actually we had a lot of customers who were connecting with each other, self-organizing, but we weren't facilitating that. And to take the next step of our kind of growth journey, if you like, we've really started to invest in the grassroots. But I think you need to look as a brand across all those areas. I don't think you can do the odd event and hope that will drive your business and drive awareness. You need to do all of them. But I do think, and particularly since we were talking about COVID earlier, as everyone does as the turning point, but it is, we've really seen an interest and kind of more awareness around our events and more interest in that kind of joining those events. And we use Sweat Pals, and our Sweat Pal numbers are growing really quickly, and we haven't been on there for long. So, yeah, my advice for everyone is, or every brand, is to think about it 360. Yep. But I think it starts with a very strong, connected community at its core, which is better built in person.
And Salar, for you too, like how many communities do we have on Sweat Pals right now?
We have over 10,000.
10,000 communities on Sweat Pals. Come on, let's give it up for Sweat Pals. Damn, A16Z, we're blowing up. You have 10,000 communities on Sweat Pals. When we're talking about community, we got the brand side a little bit. What are you seeing? How are these communities kind of blowing up? What's like that secret sauce that these communities need to actually take off? Is it routine? Is it this core foundation? What are some of those key things that you're noticing?
Yeah. So I think, like you said, the authenticity is very, very important. Like, for instance, Hyrox has done such a great job building community, and I think if you don't have that community aspect, you're always in almost a treadmill race, because you always have to do paid marketing. You always have to. But with community, it scales, because there was a studio owner I was talking with. He was saying that. He found out that if he builds community, then his members will bring their friends, their families there. But if he only just keeps spending money, it's going to get saturated. Now I have to try something else. It's going to get saturated. But community is truly how you scale it. And in order to do that, and with brands it's true too, and in order to do that, you need to be authentic and you need to have rituals. There is this book that I really like. It's called Art of Community. And it says community is people who gather around shared identity, around shared experiences. So shared identity, maybe it's Hyrox, or maybe it's we have women groups. You have all these different groups. That's the identity, but you need that ritual. For instance, religion is a great community, because, for instance, on Sundays they go on a church, and so that's the ritual. So you need that ritual, whether it's a weekly event, whether it's monthly. For instance, Squatch does the community workout last Saturday of the month. So as long as you have that calling card to bring the community together through rituals, which in my opinion IRL is the best way to do it, then it's gonna scale, and it's gonna be something people will belong, because people will be seen and belong.
It's like the consistent rituals. It's showing up consistently. Like, you're not necessarily part of a run club if you show up one time. It's like showing up, you get the experience, you meet people. The next, now you're growing, you know people, it's more familiar, you get the routine going, and it becomes a habit. And I think like that Sweat Pals is a fantastic example of the communities that are on there. Eric, I'm gonna ask this question. How many people have you met and hosted at your place in Austin in the last year?
Since September, which is when we occupied it, I would say on average we have 5 to 10 a night, 6 nights a week. So 60 times 4, 240 times 5 months, 1,200, 1,400.
That's great public math. 1,200 people. 1,200
Still
people
got it.
this man has hosted. He's not from Austin. Like, he's from, where are you from? New York. right?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New York, then Denver. Oh, let's go, baby. But also coming to Austin, he's hosted 1,200 people. Not just he's met 1,200 people. He has hosted in his home, opening the kimono, tons of brand said product. People grab stuff. They feel like Daddy's taking care of me, you know. But like that's community because people see what Eric's doing, what he's leading. It's like, damn, like I want to be a part of this community. He's really built this massive demand that people want to be running. How did you do that?
Just doing it every day. I mean, honestly, it's not being superhuman any one day. It's just the compounding consistency of doing it regularly. And then, that leads to other people introducing people to me and them coming over. It just becomes this snowball effect. So it's about starting small. It's about just hosting that monthly dinner and then that becoming a weekly dinner and then that becoming, something that you figure out how to do regularly. And I mean, we set our houses up intentionally to do that. It's a hosting oasis. It's in a really convenient location for people to get to. And it's also in a way where I'm intentional with people. Like, I don't want to do that with workouts. The number one goal for me is to get a good workout in when I'm working out. I don't do it as often with running or with biking because I enjoy doing some of those things in solitude. But I love doing contrast therapy with other people. So I make that an intentional time to connect with other people.
And why do you think wellness is that thing that's really connecting everyone now?
Yeah, in a hot sauna, you get vulnerable really quick. It's similar to a workout where your endorphins are racing, your phone is going to overheat if you have it in the sauna. And yeah, I've just had some of the best conversations of my life inside the sauna. And then when you're hopping in the cold water, it's something anyone can do, but there's some discomfort to it. And I think there's this earned respect whenever you experience discomfort together with someone, whether it's a hard CrossFit workout, doing an Ironman with someone, or just jumping in cold water. So I picked that because, again, the sauna and cold water is accessible. You don't need a certain level of skill to do a CrossFit workout. You don't, need to run at my pace. You can just hop in a sauna and we'll have a conversation. And it's also about the people that are meeting each other. I get to meet a lot of people, but I really enjoy seeing other people meet people and then friendships form from that.
And a big thing about, I guess, like kind of leading off of that, that's community turned into connection.
Yeah.
And like you're having, like, these are 5 people coming a night. It's not 100 people coming a night. It's intimate. It's together. It's sharing vulnerabilities. It's doing hard shit together.
100%. Yeah. If it gets too big, then it's difficult to have tremendous connection with those people in 60 minutes. So that 6 to 10 is really, I think, the magic number for deep connection in a short amount of time with people.
And what do you think is the best examples or what creates the strongest connections in those environments? Like when you're in the sauna, is it really a hard workout? Like what is really opening up people in those environments?
Yeah, I think some of it is your aperture is just really narrowed when you're in the heat, similar to a workout. Your endorphins are racing. And then, the curation of like-minded people. Many of the people who are coming over, they're into wellness, they're into pushing themselves, they're passionate about their life. They want to live intentionally. So, the curation of it, I think, is special as well. And then I have the Founders Only group as well that is curated with entrepreneurs, creators, and investors. And it's an ecosystem where everyone benefits from knowing each other. So I would say the magic in that is the sum is greater than the parts. Everyone that is there is adding to the experience.
Yeah, 100%. And like that leads into, again, connection, authenticity, kind of that buzzword. But there's AI. Everyone's getting kind of like blasted with ads and all that kind of stuff. If we look at Sweatpals, if we look at Vivo, like you guys aren't small brands anymore. You're growing. Like the brand's sizable, you're growing globally. You're having your 10,000 events, probably 20,000 communities you're hosting next week, and then maybe 100,000 the week after, based on this base. Like, how do you keep it still like that core? Like we're really a tight company, we're a tight community. We're focusing on the individual versus everyone at the same time. Because when it comes to brands, it's like, all right, we just want to, like, how can we hit the masses? how do we keep that individuality and like the core of the community as you scale?
Yeah, I think culture is so important, and in terms of scale, I think scaling the leaders, like you were talking about, 6 to 10 people, it's intimate and you are curating that, and it comes from the leader, but and scaling more of people in the community that can be those leaders, and then they can they embody the same values that we have. And I think that's that's both internally and externally. As the company scales, we have 4 values we talk about every week. We recognize people in the company that live it every week, and that translates externally too, where in the communities and that also is throughout everything, from the brand, how the brand shows up, to the content, to the events, to the experience. So I think culture is what's gonna kind of tie it all together as the company scales, as the user base scales.
Yes, similar, really. Internally, we've been through different articulations of our culture, let's say. But that's super important, having like-minded people who are willing to challenge each other and push each other and be committed to what you're doing. That's one side of it. And then externally, what I mentioned earlier is being true to your values. The reality is you can't speak to everyone and please everyone, but you can identify what your values are, what you stand for, and try and find people who are either like-minded or maybe interested to become so or in what you're doing, and really, really invest in those people, particularly at the start, really investing in your core, finding those groups, finding the leaders in the groups, I say influencers, but people who are kind of hold value in those groups, and then also trying to really, really be consistent with the groups you're targeting. It's very easy to run an events program and do 100 events and have very little impact because you've tried to target everyone. Yeah. Be comfortable with targeting your groups that you feel are relevant and you feel are aligned to you, but also be comfortable making decisions on what you're not doing and what you're not going to do. You can come to them eventually, but for us, that's an ongoing challenge as we grow globally. We have a growing business in Japan, and they are really focused on grassroots community, and they're speaking to climbing communities and hiking communities. And then, here we're speaking to a lot of fitness, running, outdoors too, but then New York's a bit different. And so each city has its own articulation of how it delivers the brand, but its core is the values we're talking to and how we present ourselves. And, and then you might have some nuance across the globe, but it's not easy. As you get bigger, it gets more challenging. 100%. So going back to those values and then the internal culture that you have drives that a lot.
As a brand, I'm noticing a lot of folks prefer or communities prefer this, or consumers prefer this, and brands are focusing more on it, is going back to local, going back to roots. It's now everyone kind of knows this nationally. How do we differentiate? It's just telling that story locally of that community that people resonate with, because they listen to their peers, their communities that they're in, versus a lot of things that they share online. Moving to the next, I think this is going to be, I want to hear 2 different takes from each one of you. So we have brand, we have tech, and we have kind of creator community. Nick, on your side, what is the best example, like real example of kind of a community experience that Vivo has participated in, and how was it successful? And then we'll go through the line, and then I want to see an example of what was not successful and why. So let's start with, as a brand, yeah.
We're doing, the team I have here are doing an amazing job, and there's loads of examples, but I'm going to pick out one because it's very specific from the UK. We were quite small at the time, so it was a huge investment for us. It was a big take, we're going to go after this. We built a beautiful handmade wooden trailer. There's a funny story if you find me after what happened to it, kind of funny. But handmade wooden involves fire and got a lot of sadness in the company. But it was, a bit of a story that I have to share. But the one summer we created this handmade trailer. It was a stage that opened up at different festivals, and we basically identified 16 festivals we would go to, and we weren't selling shoes. We made a conscious point: we're not going there to sell the product. We're going there to sell the experience of what Vivo brings. Maybe now we probably would sell the shoes, having done it, but at the time we wanted to be very pure around what we were trying to deliver and not muddy the waters and make it into something it wasn't meant to be. We had amazing ambassadors, the likes of Eric's of the UK were coming, delivering talks, workshops, sound baths, everything that's associated with wellness and health that we align to, and we went across these different events. We saw thousands of people, and our website traffic spiked massively over that period. But it didn't come. Initially, right? It was a build up over the time of showing up consistently in the places where our customers were, consistently as a brand. And by the end of the summer, when we look back at the numbers, it was really, really positive. But it was a bet at the start that we had to take. And at the time, we were a tiny team. This was like our biggest marketing investment, but it was, in-person connection. It was in 2019-18, just before COVID. So, that was a great example of really having focus and staying true to what we're trying to do, and then showing up in a way that uncompromising way.
And it's probably hard doing a business case on that with that investment,
but
right?
that's what I mean. There was no direct sale associated from each event, so it was a.
It's just you gotta believe it's gonna work, right? Like you go to the CFO, it's like, hey, I need the money for this. Like, well, what's the ROI? It's like, we don't know yet, but we believe it's gonna work, and then it does, and it pays off in a big way. Also, too, like especially here at Wellness House, like we are here in Austin, it's South by, but everyone here is part of a brand that cares about wellness, and you guys showed up today as a sponsor of the event, having the shoes downstairs, doing 3D scans. So, guys, two things. One, if you haven't checked out the Vivo section, go check them out. The team is fantastic down there. Two, let's give it up for Vivo as a sponsor of this event. Thank you, Vivo. Big Nick. Thanks for making this happen. All right, Solara, really quickly to you. What's been the best example of a community that you've seen on your platform, and why?
I think obviously willpower was.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah. But I would say at least what we see that does really well on the platform, because there are two types of classes or events that happen. One is the reason it's on the platform is because people want to work out. So that's different. That's actually needs to be very kind of to the point. People just want to get in, get out. But the ones that build the communities where people are there to actually meet other people, to get entertainment. They don't have anything to do Friday night or Saturday morning. They want to. So that's, I think, the part that really builds community. And what we've seen works really well is that there is also a social part to it. So we always say it's as much about the pals as it is about the sweating part. So you need, So you have for instance, we see a lot of interesting fusions. Like we've seen run and raves, for instance. They go for a run, and we've seen coffee parties. We've seen we have coffee and chill. That's a great example. So it's always there is some wellness component, but then there is a kind of a curated social aspect that kind of takes the pressure off. And I would say also the themed experiences do really well. Like I remember you did an 80s themed last year.
80s themed volleyball. Yeah.
So they usually, or we saw like a Swifty lift club really take off in Arizona. They are doing like a Taylor Swift themed. So those themes also does really well. And in terms of what doesn't do well, I think, in my opinion, when it's too transactional, when kind of the motivation for doing that is transactions versus it's actually building community. And people can tell.
100%. 100%. And then Eric, from your standpoint, as in the brand space, hosting community, being a creator, like what's the best example of maybe a brand and community that you've worked with?
Yeah, so probably 3 or 4 years ago, we hosted an ambassador summit in Denver with 10,000 and had about 15 to 20 of the ambassadors come out. It was 2 to 3 days. We were hitting trail runs together. We went rock climbing. We hit CrossFit workouts together. We jumped in a cold stream. And the beauty of that was all of the ambassadors got to work out with each other, bond over discomfort. 10,000 got a ton of content from it. We all got a ton of content from it. Everyone felt like they were truly part of something. Everyone looking from the outside in was like, I want to be a part of that. That looks so much fun. And they call it athlete-led design. We gave feedback on all of the stuff while we were doing the activities, while we were shooting the content, and we were talking about competitive brands and why we liked these running shorts compared to 10,000's running shorts. So they took away super valuable feedback. That's a prime example of it being amazing for the creators, being amazing for the brand, and just extending far beyond just that event. And then I would say an event where a brand is not getting bang for their buck, that you would think, is getting bang for your buck, would be like just taking everyone out for a fancy dinner. Like, there's really not a lot of additional benefit other than that moment. Like, great, had a great dinner, got to meet people, but there's no additional content from it. There wasn't more taken from it than if you do, an in-person retreat with all the ambassadors, you test the products, everybody gets content. I think that's the key to these in-person events. Like, they're expensive, so make sure that you're getting a lot out of it if you're spending the money to do it.
You hear that, Brands? You hear that? Drop some knowledge from these guys. You learn a little bit? Yeah. All right, really, really quickly, let's rip through it. Bad examples. Things that haven't worked that you've seen.
Well, I gave you my bad example right there, but other bad examples would be transactional. If it's not good product market fit, don't do it. I always tell brands, don't look at the number next to someone's name. Look at product market fit. If you want to work with someone, it should be their audience is very receptive to your product or service. That's way more important than a big number next to a name.
Yeah, I agree. I think that when it's people can tell when it's transactional. So I would say just not thinking through the whole experience and trying to sell as soon as someone walks in, instead of welcoming them. Hey, if someone by themselves, hey, let me facilitate a connection. That should always come first. The other stuff will follow naturally, and also it takes time. It takes for the first one event doesn't build community. It takes time. So if you do it once, try to kind of make it too transactional. I think it's never gonna work.
Yeah, like I could give many examples of things that haven't gone well, but I think in Vivo we have, every year we're reviewing what we're doing. We have a thing called champagne moments, which is all the good stuff we just spoke about, and then you have fantastic failures. And I think you will try things, whether there's a bit of advice, you will try things that will not work. Categorically, that will happen. And sometimes there is no good reason for it. It's the wrong night, wrong time of day, whatever it is for an event. But learn from those. And I think that's the most important thing, is embrace the failures, learn from them, and try to do better next time. And I could give you lots of examples of those failures, but they're not bad. One, I know we've done educational workshops before where we just didn't focus on getting people there. We're focusing on the concept too much, and we had 3 people. So I've had them multiple times. So you compromise a bit on one area or another because you're too busy. Give it the attention.
Shoot from the hip a little bit on certain areas, right? Versus over-engineer.
It doesn't work, and that's happened multiple times. So give your time the focus to make sure it is a good experience. Don't compromise too much and try and deliver too much, and therefore it kind of fails as a result.
I think if you're a brand too, looking to move into a new city, a new community, partnering with that local community, someone like Good Pain, partnering with them when you go into Austin. If you're in New York, partnering with gyms there that already have communities built in, rather than just thinking that you can pop up and have all of these people come to your event.
Like if you're like Klaviyo or Shopify or Postpilot, you want to get to Austin, you got Willpower, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, let's go. Guys, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much. Let's give the community leaders a round of applause. Come on. Let's go. Eric Szilard, Nick. Let's go. Community. Thank you. All right, guys. Are we ready? Are we ready? Can I get a woo-ha? Yeah. Can I get a willpower? What am I going to ask you right next here? I'm going to ask you something about community, aren't I? I'm going to say grow through community, aren't I? I'm going to do that. Grow through. Community. Grow through. Community. And then I'm not going to say it. You're going to say it. Community. We'll do that one more time. We're getting better, guys. Hell yeah. Round of applause for these guys. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.